Take a negative and turn it into a positive. Don't be afraid to fail. People don't see that, and people will never understand that to be success. You know, all they think about, well, he batted 202, you know, and he struck out a certain number of times. Yeah, okay. You know, but the effort was there, and the learning curve and the passion was there that has transcended not just to me, but to other people who are afraid to do things because they're worried about the perception that may come from other places. To me, that's more gratifying than anything.
I heard Jeff Bezos say one time when he was talking, he said he makes his investment based on if it's going to change people's lives. And once I started doing that strategy, I think I probably quadrupled what I'm worth now.
I wrote myself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered, and I gave myself 5 years, or 3 years maybe. And I dated it Thanksgiving 1995. And I put it in my wallet, and I kept it there, and it deteriorated and stuff. And but then just before Thanksgiving 1995, I found out that I was going to make $10 million on, I think it was Dumb and Dumber. Maybe.
Dumb and Dumber, yeah.
Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. When someone tells me it's impossible, I always just look at them. Anybody around me knows that they can't do that. So that's part of it. But if they didn't know me, it's your opinion. And they'll say, no, science shows. And I say, yeah, and how many times has science showed something's impossible? Now science shows it's possible. Things are impossible till somebody does it.
I just had a dream to become something. That's the thing about dreaming. Just 8 years ago, I was crossing the Mediterranean to make it from Africa to Europe. Then I was homeless in Paris, sleeping in the street. If you believe in yourself, you can be your own hero or hero to somebody else. Keep dreaming, keep fighting.
There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams.
Love is passion, obsession, someone you can't live without. Fall head over heels, find someone you can love like crazy and who'll love you the same way back. Because the truth is, there's no sense living your life without this. To make the journey and not fall deeply in love, well, you haven't lived a life at all. But you have to try, because if you haven't tried, you haven't lived.
Stop being driven by rewards. Stop being driven by outcomes. Stop being driven by, if I get this, I'm gonna do this. Just work. And if you don't get what you thought you were gonna get, show up and still go to work. Because along the process, what's more important, what you acquire or who you become?
When you see the famous people, wow, so successful, you don't know behind the story, how tough they are. Like people, wow, Jackie, the move is so good. When everybody sleep, I still in the health club, in the mirror, practicing. 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, get up on the set. Then you suddenly do something, wow, very beautiful. Oh yeah, go back, training again.
I just want to make a lot of money and tell people money is not everything for this life.
First you want to make a lot of money though, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you're going to get judged anyway. So why live for that being a metric of success or failure? Why let the judgment or opinions of others be the reason why you share or you don't? Because guess what? If that person's not paying your bills, if that person's not saving your life, if that person's not giving you coaching, mentorship, and spiritual growth, why does their opinion matter?
Right.
And that's how I've kind of found it in my life to move beyond judgment.
It's good to treat other people the way you would like to be treated yourself. It's like a golden rule, and there's a reason for it. And that reason is that we're connected in some strange way that we don't totally understand. And unless you are good to other people around you, unless you're kind and friendly and warm and loving, you're not going to enjoy this life. You're just not. You're going to be problems everywhere you go. You're going to have problems everywhere you go. You got to figure out a way to enjoy this life.
After the season, usually there's a time period where Michael takes some time off. The night they lost to Orlando, I said, Michael, I'm about to get out of here. Let me know when you want me to see you. because I'll see you tomorrow. Michael had an obligation to himself, the fans, his teammates, the organization, his family, everybody. He said, if you're gonna sit down and take 3 hours out of your day to watch me on TV, I have an obligation to give you my best. To give you my best all the time.
Don't ever let people can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
I have an insane belief in my own ability to manifest things. Insane belief. You know, that I think it's ultimately complete sanity. But I believe we're creators, and I believe we create with every thought and every word. Every moment is pregnant with the next moment of your life.
Every single human being has value, and my value is not determined on how I look or what job I have or where I'm from, where I was born, how much money. All that stuff is nothing. So many teenagers, tease each other for how we look, and I tell the teenagers, do you think that I'm cool enough to be your friend? They're like, yeah, of course. I said, but I have no arms, no legs. And they said, doesn't matter. I said, really? So it doesn't matter that I have no arms, no legs? He said, no, it doesn't matter. I said, then actually, if it doesn't matter, then why do we kill each other with our words if it actually doesn't matter? Why do we look ourselves in the mirror and see ugly instead of valuable? I want to ask you today, what are you looking for?
What I realized about myself was, the reason I won and I'm good is I've never played in the vortex. I've never played in the actual rules of life. I was an F student when every immigrant was supposed to be an A student because education was the way out. I launched an e-commerce wine business in 1996. I've always done things that don't make sense. I play outside of the actual game, and that has been where all my happiness has come from. And so many things have become obvious to me by playing outside of the rules.
When you're comfortable, you are at most danger. The comfort zone is somewhere you should never feel comfortable. You should be happy and dissatisfied. Anybody ever tell you, hey, look, you know what? Just be satisfied with what you got. Don't believe them. Get them away from you. You should never be satisfied with what you got. Because the attempt to get more makes you into something better all the time.
You are unusually fearless and willing to go in the face of other people telling you something is crazy.
Well, first of all, I'd say I actually think I feel fear quite strongly. So it's not as though I just have the absence of fear. I feel it quite strongly. But there are just times when something is important enough, you believe in it enough that you do it in spite of the fear.
Stephen Curry will go down in history as the greatest shooter that the NBA has ever seen. And it's not by accident, and it's not by luck, and it's not because his dad played in the NBA. It's because he's willing to hold himself to an unparalleled standard. And that is the thought that I'll leave you all with. That the standards that you set today, they'll determine who and where you'll be tomorrow.
You need to be clear what it is you really want. I always tell people, know not only what you want, but why you want it. I know this is simplistic, but most people just don't do the blocking and tackling of their life. The one we were talking to earlier, a great lady, and you could just see she wants to have a new business, but she never sat down to even put a plan together and says, why aren't I taking action? Well, when you're not sure what you're going to do, you're going to hesitate. And hesitation kills momentum. And momentum is what makes a sports team win. It's what makes an athlete, a business person win. When you get momentum, it's takes enormous energy to get a rocket out of our gravitational pull of the Earth. But out of the solar system's easy. Once it has momentum, it takes less fuel, less energy. Starting a relationship, starting a business, changing your body, it takes so much in the beginning. But once you get going, it's actually really easy.
Knowledge isn't power. It's potential power. And it's only powerful when it's applied, as you've said. I actually think the separator for people who apply and don't apply is ego. I really think I don't know everything. Ego is fear. Ego applies itself in lots of different ways, but probably the fact that you're not applying what you're learning is ego related in some way.
Here's what I've learned though. I think the people that have made those mistakes
and that have went through those crazy changes within this business are people that have put themselves in a position to not grow. I think you go through it at one point, but then you go, oh, this is bad. I messed up one time. I don't want to mess up again. I went through my period. I got my DUI. I was out. I was drunk every night. I was chasing different women every day of the week. I did that. I saw that it got me nowhere, and then I got focused, and I saw where getting focused got me. So why go backwards? You're supposed to progress. You're not supposed to digress. The man that I am today is a much more developed man than I was yesterday, and I just don't see myself wanting to ever lose that. I want to continue to be a dope example for where people can look at it and go, wow, look where he came from, look at where he is now. I got too many goals.
My hero.
As a child, my parents always told me you could be whatever you want to be. You could do whatever you want to do. And, you know, that office, that position, the highest office on the face of the earth, it was something I heard my parents saying it, but I didn't totally believe it. Yet I went out in the world and I carried myself and I held my head high and I stood there and I looked people in their eyes and I talked to people as if I was deserving of everything that this planet has to offer. To children out there and to people who are watching, Confucius said one time, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both usually right.
It's just a matter of what's important to you. And what's important to you, for whatever reason, you know, I felt like I didn't feel good about myself if I wasn't doing everything I could to be the best version of myself. If I felt like I left anything on the table, it would eat away at me. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror. And so the reason why I can retire now and be completely comfortable about it, because I know that I've done everything I could to be the best basketball player I could be. And so that's where it comes from for me. You can't leave any stone unturned.
They get comfortable with a win. People can get comfortable with a win, and slack off then. Slack off on the training. Slack off on the diet. They've won one. They're winners now. That's not me. You know, you sleep on a win and you'll wake up with a loss. So I just carry on.
You should never ever be embarrassed by those struggles. You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages.
Well, it's dedication and hard work. This is my words, to dedicate myself 100% every time to be the position that I am today. It's not 1 year, it's 10 years, 12 years, you know, to maintain my level. It's making me feel proud. You have to dedicate yourself 100%. It doesn't mean how many hours you're training, but the way you're training, your dedication. You can have a training only 1 hour, but you give everything for that to achieve your goals. So this is what I try to do. This is make me feel proud, and I will continue to work hard to maintain that level.
You ain't never gave 100%. And in order to knock on the door 100 times, you're going to have to get 120. Get up out of here. You can't do this. And you're going to have to fight and fight and fight and fight. And most of you won't be successful, not because you can't do it, but you can't outlast your old you long enough to get to your new.
It's easy to romanticize hard work, but the reality of hard work is that it is what it is, and it sucks, and it's nonstop. There is no off switch. And you know, like I don't need to work hard. Like, we could leave expensive New York City and move somewhere more cost effective, and I could do nothing but watch TV for the rest of my life. And I can say that at age 37, and that's a huge privilege. But instead I work 20 hours a day because I love every second of it.
Knowing what it is about you that is infectious and being able to convey that to people as soon as you meet them is so important. Being memorable and making an impact is so important. You know, that's true for so many different lines of work, and not just like as an actor, but you have to do things to stand out. You can't play by the rules. And I think that, yeah, just knowing that you're good enough and making sure that you stay on that path to be that person.
You have to work on yourself, and you have to have an unstoppable attitude, and no excuse is acceptable, and you've got to make it a priority, a non-negotiable in your life, and hold a constant vision of what it is you want to achieve. See it accomplished and go all out. Find a way to win in spite of the setbacks, in spite of the disappointments, in spite of your failures.
You really have to be very, very, very stingy with your time. Don't waste it on people that aren't like-minded. Don't waste it doing things that you know are not part of your dream plan. Don't waste time being bitter, which I know I've been argumentative. I understand the meaning of hate, because in the end, it just wastes your most valuable asset, time.
Man, you just gotta stay real to yourself. You know, don't ever try and follow the trends. That's when you get lost in the sauce, man. You gotta do what you feel, man, and be creative, and don't be scared to be yourself, and always keep that faith. You know, I've been in the darkest times of my life, man, where I didn't know what was gonna happen, or was flat broke. Anything you could think of, man, I done been through it, and like, you know, you gotta be strong enough to make it through, and it just makes it that much sweeter when everything starts going right. You appreciate it way more, man, so yeah.
It's easy to embrace hopelessness when things seem insurmountable, and yet it's actually just a matter of time until all of the elements come together for things to be all right. I mean, I believe that, you know, most difficult situations will resolve themselves if you are persistent and if you don't give up entirely. And that's what I never did. I never gave up.
We all have varying degrees of loss and sadness and pain in our lives, and it's a necessity, honestly, because then how would we appreciate the good times and the hopeful times and all of the abundance that life has if you go and grab it. But it's a personal choice to get up and move on and be better.
I think the greatest of people that have ever been in society, they were never versions of someone else. They were themselves. You don't think about Michael Jordan, the basketball player, and say, oh, he was just like this other player. No. You don't even say he was like this player plus that player divided by 2 plus this. No. He's Michael Jordan. I think the greatest of people in society carved niches that represented the unique expression of their combinations of talents.
These are words to remember when anyone tries to tell you to give up, tell you to give in, because whatever you're trying to do is impossible. Impossible is just a word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. I'm here to say you will make mistakes along the way. You will fall down. I have, many times. But what we do after that fall is how we make history. Because impossible is nothing.
If you can't go through this pain period, you make it to be a champion. If you can't go through, forget it. And that's what most people lack, is on this, having the guts to go in and just say, I go through and I don't care what happens. You know, it aches, and if I fall down, I have no fear of fainting in a gym, because I know it could happen. I threw up many times while I was working out, but it doesn't matter, because it's all worth it.
For me, money is not my definition of success. Inspiring people is a definition of success. Doing things to the maximum. I want to change the definition of status quo. And that's what I want. I want my shoes. I want as many people to be able to have them as possible. Because in 100 years from now, everyone in this room will be dead. And what did you do while you were here?
Life's about self-discipline. It is about self-discipline. We tend to do the things that are easy. And that is it builds no mental toughness. It builds no mental hardening. It builds nothing. When you work out, working out is where you can build that the fastest, because it's a constant. It gives you instant feedback. Yeah, you may not lose the weight you want to real fast, but the discipline it takes, it transfers over to all aspects of your life. It's not, people, man, why are you always working out? Stop looking at it that way. This is the foundation of life.
My uncle always told me something early in my life which stuck with me, which is that while you're on the journey, you have to disconnect from the end goal. You know, because if you're just focused on some end goal, then you might get there, but it'll be hard to progress past that because you're so focused on that one destination that it's like, you know, you maybe forget everything in between, and maybe you could have done more in between. He always told me, like, just be here right now, live right now, and do the best you can right now. Don't worry about what that end goal is. It's great to have goals, it's great to have dreams, but it's just like you get too attached to it, and sometimes it could be a self-destructive thing. So, I mean, I just kind of try and progress as much as I can, like right now.
How willing are you to listen to that inner voice that no one else can hear? That little scurvy elephant in there that says, you're not the boss of me. You can't tell me what I'm here for. You have to, it takes a kind of fearlessness, because fear is such an omnipresent force in our lives. I do what I do because of the passion I feel. I am not here because of what you paid me to be here for. I am not here because of any need that I have to sell another book. I am not here for anything external to myself. I am here because I have a passion within me.
I'm sure all of you have been told that you don't have what it takes and that you may not be good enough and you don't have enough people supporting you, and you're being told all of these things, but deep down it's all you want to do. You want to be a part of something great. You want to make something great. And it does more than knock the wind out of you. It crushes you when people try to tell you that you're not good enough. And it almost did for me, but there was my mom next to me, stronger than ever. And she said, the most important thing is to always trust in myself. If I'm doing something because I love it, I should do it because I love it, and I believe I can do it. Let the critics be critics, and let us just trust ourselves.
A lot of people out there chasing their dream, but their dream is to just be rich, and that's not a dream. You know, if you try to go out and make money for the purpose of making money, first of all, you could end up in the wrong place due to it. You could be miserable, and then when you get it, if you don't have no goal on why you were trying to achieve this goal, you feel unfulfilled. Yeah.
No matter what you face, no matter how bad it is going to be, when there is a challenge, anything that you're facing, the only way to overcome the challenges that you face is to start walking. Take that step every day, no matter what you are facing. Get up and start walking.
One of the main reasons that people don't get what they want is because they don't actually figure out what it is. And the probability that you're going to get what would be good for you, let's say, which would even be better than what you want, right? Because, you know, you might be wrong about what you want easily, but maybe you could get what would really be good for you. Imagine that you were taking care of yourself like you were someone you actually cared for. And then you thought, okay, I'm caring for this person. I would like things to go as well for them as possible. What would their life have to be like in order for that to be the case?
You have to make a decision what's important to you. Time to go out and do whatever, be whoever you are, help whoever you want to help, raise your family, whatever it is. Or do you want to create a world-class company? What is your goal? And you have to understand your goals, and there should always be a price. You know, if it is about selling at some point, what's the price? What is it that causes you to work 24 hours a day? What is it that causes you to dream about this company? What is it that gets you so fired up you can't think about anything else? What is it just that you just say, this is me, right? I am, you know, what is it that drives you?
You're born with talent. You know, it's like there's certain things that you just do naturally. You were gifted with a talent and you have it. But skill is acquired through discipline. And, you know, I've never seen myself as particularly talented. Where I excel is I'm willing to die in the process of acquiring skill, right? When I look at people and I see things, I don't feel like I can't,
Whether or not I will is something different, but I don't ever feel like I can't